Amazon Prime Video has become the home of some of the most ambitious Indian storytelling ever put on screen. While Netflix gets more attention internationally, Prime has quietly built a library that includes the most watched Indian show in streaming history, some of the best crime dramas produced anywhere, and a rural comedy series so warmly observed that it has become a cultural phenomenon. If you have Prime and you have not explored the Indian content, this is where to start. Amazon Prime Video India has invested heavily in original content since 2016 and the results have been remarkable. These are the 10 shows that define the platform's Indian catalogue, all available with English subtitles. Hostel Daze is a comedy about engineering college hostel life in India, and it captures the specific texture of that experience with affection and accuracy. The show understands how friendships form under institutional pressure, how ambition and laziness coexist in the same people, and how the rituals of student life create bonds that last beyond the institution. It is funny throughout and genuinely warm at its core. For international viewers who want a window into Indian youth culture without the weight of a crime drama, this is the most enjoyable entry point. For more shots, please move to Amazon Prime for its later seasons, and the platform suits it. The show about 4 women in Mumbai navigating their 30s with frank, funny, and often messy honesty remains one of the best female friendship dramas produced in India. The conversations these women have about desire, ambition, and identity were not available on Indian screens before OTT arrived, and the show makes the most of the freedom. 3 seasons in, the friendship at the center remains the most honest thing about it. The original Breathe, which predates the Abhishek Bachchan sequel, is a tighter and more emotionally precise thriller. A father learns his son needs a heart transplant and cannot wait for a donor on the official list. The moral horror of what he decides to do and the detective who is tracking the pattern of unusual deaths is handled with real craft. Artha Madhavan's performance is the kind that makes you understand a character's choices even as you know they are wrong. It is 8 episodes and does not waste a single one. Comicstaan is the competition series that documented the arrival of Indian stand-up comedy as a mainstream cultural force. It is not a drama, but it is essential viewing for understanding contemporary Indian culture. Watching comedians from different cities and backgrounds find their voices while navigating the specific pressures of performance reveals more about modern India than most scripted dramas manage. Several alumni have become the most successful comics in the country. It is joyful television. Bandish Bandits is a musical romance between a classical Indian musician from a traditional family and a pop star, and the central tension between classical tradition and contemporary commercial music is handled with genuine depth. The music in the show is extraordinary and the romantic leads are both compelling. The show understands that the conflict between tradition and innovation is not simply resolved in favor of either side, which gives it an emotional honesty that pure romance dramas usually lack. Paatal Lok is the show that defined Amazon Prime India's creative ambitions. It is as good as anything produced on any Indian platform, and it is better than most Indian television that preceded it. The political and social complexity of its crime narrative is handled at a level of sophistication that demands full attention and rewards it completely. Jaideep Ahluwa's performance as the investigating officer is among the best in Indian screen history. It is a landmark. Mirzapur is the most popular original Amazon Prime India show ever produced, and the numbers reflect genuine quality. The crime epic set in the lawless districts of Uttar Pradesh has the scale of ambition and the willingness to cause genuine harm to its characters that distinguishes great crime drama from merely entertaining crime drama. 3 seasons in, it remains one of the defining shows of Indian streaming. If you are going to watch one Amazon Prime India original, make it this one. Panchayat is the most warmly observed comedy drama produced in Indian streaming, and it has become a genuine cultural institution. An urban engineering graduate takes a government posting as a village secretary in rural Uttar Pradesh, and the show documents his gradual understanding that the people he initially condescended to have a dignity and complexity he never anticipated. The comedy is gentle and the emotional payoffs in the later seasons are surprisingly affecting. Panchayat is the show that proves Indian OTT content does not need darkness to be excellent. The Family Man is the best thing Amazon Prime Video India has produced. The intelligence operative trying to save the country while his marriage falls apart is a premise that could have been either a comedy or a thriller, and the show is both, simultaneously, across both seasons. Season 2 in particular is as good as international spy drama gets, and the political nuance of its narrative is more sophisticated than most global productions attempting the same territory. Essential. Scam 1992 remains the most watched Indian streaming show of all time, and it earned that position by being genuinely extraordinary. Pratik Gandhi's performance as Harshad Mehta turns a financial criminal into one of the most compelling protagonists in Indian screen history without excusing or celebrating what he did. The storytelling is immaculate, the period detail is lived in, and the show's understanding of how ambition operates within a corrupt system is as relevant now as when the events it depicts actually happened. It is the first recommendation for anyone asking where to start with Indian streaming. Amazon Prime Video India has built one of the most diverse and ambitious original content catalogs in Asian streaming. The 10 shows here are the essential starting points, but they will lead you to dozens more. Subscribe for ongoing coverage of the best Indian and Asian television because this content deserves a much larger international audience than it currently has.